Hello learners. We have been finished the concept of investment multiplier. Now it's time to discuss the situation of excess demand and deficient demand. And today in this class we are going to deal with the problem of deficient demand. Here I have drawn the two diagrams. First is representing the full employment equilibrium level of the economy. First, we should try to understand what is full employment equilibrium or what is the situation of full employment. Please remember that full employment is a situation of the economy where all the factors of production are fully employed. Here we are saying that involuntary unemployment, involuntary unemployment is zero or it is not there. What is involuntary unemployment? Involuntary unemployment is a situation where the people who are able to work and they are ready to work at the prevailing wage rate can find the work or can find the job. So it is the situation. There may be certain other peoples who are able to work but they are not willing to work. So these peoples are not considered under the workforce of the country. We only consider those people, those persons who are able to work and willing to work at the given wage rate. So here at the level of equilibrium we can see that this 45-degree line is the supply curve or aggregate supply curve, which is equal to the national income of the country, this 45-degree line, and this one is AD curve or aggregate demand curve. So at point where these two intersect with each other, that is the point E, of course it is the equilibrium point of the economy. Here economy is operating at full employment equilibrium. What is the full employment equilibrium? Where all the factors of production are fully employed. So this is the general phenomena of getting an equilibrium level of income, output and employment. This we have dealt when we were dealing with the equilibrium level of income and output with the aggregate demand and aggregate supply approach. This also we have discussed with the saving and investment approach. Okay. Now is the situation, you know that there might be the situation where economy is in equilibrium while the situation is not of full employment, or it may be the situation of over full employment. So there can be three types of equilibrium in the economy. First, the full employment level of equilibrium in the economy, the underemployment level of equilibrium in the economy, and over full employment level of the equilibrium level of the economy. So now today we will be dealing with the first situation, which will be the underemployment equilibrium of the economy, where deficient demand will be the prevailing situation in the economy. So here we can discuss this phenomena by this diagram. Now you can understand it easily. On OX axis we measure income, output and employment. On OY axis we measure X and T aggregate demand and X and T aggregate supply. This is 45-degree line or aggregate supply curve. Now you can see that AD0 is the initial aggregate demand curve where economy is in equilibrium at point E, and OQ level is the equilibrium level of output. But when aggregate demand curve shift upward and here you can see the full employment equilibrium level is point F, where the AD1 intersect the supply curve at this point only. So at this point the aggregate demand is Fm, but the at this point the aggregate supply is Fm, but the aggregate demand is only Gm. So this is the gap. This gap is known as deflationary gap. Deflationary gap. So deflationary gap is a situation when aggregate demand is fall short from the equilibrium level of full employment level of aggregate supply, because this is the full employment level of aggregate supply, which is equal to Fm, but aggregate demand is fall short because this is the real demand curve or the initial demand curve AD0. So aggregate demand is only Gm. So here AD is less than AS, or which is equal to Gm is less than Fm. So this is the situation where deflationary gap is there. Now what will happen? The economy has to increase the amount of aggregate demand up to which the Fg or Gf. So Gf amount is required to fulfill the condition of full employment equilibrium. So how we can increase this aggregate demand? Because we are dealing with the two sector economy only, where there are only two sectors. Two sectors economy is there. Two sectors economy, where there are only two components, C and I. The household and the firm sector is there. So aggregate demand can be increased with increase in autonomous investment. As I have displayed it with the green color, this is delta I. So autonomous investment will increase and hence autonomous expenditure will increase, and this demand curve will shift upward and become AD1. Now it will intersect at point F, which will be the full employment equilibrium level of income and output. So we can correct this problem of deficient demand. Now first the question arises, why it is called deficient? Because it is affecting with the it is affecting the general price level. What will happen? The general price will goes down due to the less demand in the economy. So how it can be corrected? So measures to correct it. Measures to correct it. How we can correct it? There are two policy instruments by which we can correct the situation of deficient demand. First is fiscal measures. Fiscal measures. And second is monetary policy. Monetary policy or monetary measures. Under the fiscal measures, we put the government expenditure. Here we put the government expenditure and the taxation policy of the government. Now what the government will do if AD is less than AS? What will happen? People have less money. So government will increase its expenditure. By increasing its expenditure, it will leave people with more disposable income, and hence they will have more purchasing power. The aggregate demand will be increased. The second component is taxation. Government will reduce its taxation, whether they are direct or indirect. So government will reduce the taxation. By reducing the taxation, government will leave more disposable money with the people, more disposable income with the people. More disposable income will lead to the more purchasing power. Hence, the problem of deficient demand will be corrected. Deficient demand will also be corrected with the monetary policy of the country. How RBI can increase the money supply? Because if deficient demand is prevailing, it means there is a deficiency in the supply of the money. So RBI will increase the money supply with decreasing the various reserves or with decreasing the various rates. So RBI will decrease the various reserves and rate. What are those? I am writing here. Suppose it will decrease CRR, cash reserve ratio. If CRR will decrease, then commercial bank will have to keep less money than before. Then they will have more money with themselves. More money means more credit creation. Then decrease in RR. RR means repo rate. Repo rate is the rate at which commercial bank can borrow money from central bank for the short period. So if this will decrease, they can borrow, they can have more money from the central bank, and more money will create more credit in the economy. More credit means people will have more money, more purchasing power with themselves, and hence the problem of deficient demand will be corrected. Similarly, there will be decrease in the reverse repo rate, there will be decrease in the SLR, and there will be decrease in the margin requirements. So in this way, the RBI or the monetary policy of the central bank will ensure the increase in the money supply in the economy. It can also perform the open market operations. How it can perform it? Open market operations means it can purchase the government securities from the public. So by purchasing the securities, RBI will give the general public more liquidity, more purchasing power. So in this way, this problem of deficient demand will be corrected. So to correct the deficient demand or deflationary gap, there are two measures. First is fiscal measures or fiscal policy of the government, which involves the government expenditure. Government will increase its expenditure to give the more disposable income, and taxation policy. Under the taxation policy, government will decrease the taxation to leave the general public with more money. And as far as the monetary policy is concerned, the RBI will decrease the various reserve ratios like CRR, SLR, and it will also decrease the reverse repo rate, the bank rate, and the margin requirements, which was required earlier for giving the credit. And it will also perform the open market operations, means the RBI will purchase the government securities in open market from the public to leave general public with more capacity for purchasing power. So in this way, this problem of deficient demand can be corrected. So though we are discussing that economy is in full employment equilibrium where aggregate demand and aggregate supply intersect each other, but that point may or may not be the full employment level. As in the case of deficient demand, this point is not the full employment level of equilibrium, because the full employment level of equilibrium is this, the point F, where the Fm is the aggregate supply and Gm is the aggregate demand, and here aggregate demand is less than the aggregate supply. So this is the situation of deficient demand. So we can correct it by having these two measures, the fiscal measures and the monetary measures. So dear learners, please go through this concept again and again. It is yet another important aspects of this unit, determination of income, output and employment. Please remember that we are dealing with two sector economy, so that is why the aggregate demand curve will shift only due to change in autonomous investment. But though in reality the government has to use these measures to correct the deficient demand. So this is what deficient demand is all about. Thank you for watching.